Have you ever wondered, where do balloon presents come from? What does Tom Nook do with the things we sell him? Or even, what am I supposed to do with this empty plot of land? Well, if you ever had a question like that, then welcome to Have You Ever Wondered, the series where we question little bits and pieces of a game's lore that wake us up in the middle of the night with a cold sweat, and it doesn't let us go back to sleep until we find some kind of answer to it. And if you're new here, it may interest you to know that we've also made other videos like this about Splatoon, Donkey Kong, and much more. So if you want to go check those out, just click that little eye in the top right and go check out the playlist. I'm also making a few changes to this series, but I'll get more into that in the end of the video. But with that being said, my name is Red, and without further ado, have you ever wondered, who built the robot villagers? Alright, first of all, we have to name who the robot villagers are, and there's actually 5 of them, which are Bow, Meow, Dell, Ribbot, and Sprocket. I know we haven't seen Bow and Meow in such a long time, but I'll still count them in. If anything, the reason why they haven't been in any recent Animal Crossing games is maybe because they were dismantled. Well, if that's the case, then Rip, Bow, and Meow, hopefully they'll never be forgotten. And hey, maybe they could be brought back in another update. However, we're not here to talk about the fate of Bow and Meow, but instead, we're looking for who built the robot villagers. And, well, when it comes to figuring out who built the robot villagers, it's not as easy as just pointing at who could have been behind it all, because we also have to question, why were they built? Was there a purpose behind the creation of each robot villager? And I mean, are they even robots? Well, judging by these oh-so-reliable sources, it does state that Bow, Meow, Ribbot, and Sprocket are all technically not animals, and judging by their appearances, Bow and Meow both have LCD screens for faces, which resemble devices known as Bowlingles and Meowlingles. While on the other hand, Ribbot and Sprocket have a more traditional robotic appearance with much more visible mechanical parts and screws on the outside of their head and body. However, you may have noticed that I did forget to mention Dell, and that's because if you take a look at him, he seems to have much more of a different build compared to Ribbot and Sprocket. And it's not because he's an alligator, but if you take a closer look at his eyes, they seem much more alive. And he doesn't have that many obvious screws and parts like the other robots. And when his mouth is open, it does seem that the bottom part of his jaw could be scale and bones and not metal and screws. So that can mean 2 things. Either Dell is just a robot like the rest of the robot villagers and just has different parts of his body painted red with LCD eyes, or he's a cyborg alligator. And who's to say the other robot villagers aren't also some kind of cyborg animals instead of a robot built from scratch? Dell could easily be part robot and part alligator, while the others probably have some kind of organic brain inside of their metal head, which is the reason why they have personality, skills, and even their own favorite kind of coffee. But I'm not sure if that would entirely qualify them to be cyborgs, maybe more of a robot man? Or a robot animal? A badnik, perhaps? Probably not. I guess we'll just have to keep that in the back of our heads. But speaking of the back of our heads, there is a small detail I haven't gone into, and that's because if you take a look at the back of Sprocket's head, there's an orange number 4 printed on there, while Ribbot has the number 59 in white printed on the back of his. However, Dell doesn't have any kind of printed number on the back of his head, and I'm not really entirely sure about Bow and Meow. So judging by that, the numbers could indicate that the villagers are that specific number in a line of mass-produced robots, which could mean that there are way more Sprocket and Ribbots around the world and we just don't know about it. That would be a pretty neat feature if every single Ribbot and Sprocket had a different number on the back of their head in each player's game to show just how many of them are there around the world. Unless that number isn't to show what robot they are from an assembly line, but instead, they were given that specific number from their creator to show just how many robots this mysterious creator has built. So if that's the case, then whatever happened to robots 1, 2, 3, and 5 through 58? Are there more robots out there that we don't know about? Is Nintendo probably planning to release new robot villagers in some kind of new update? I don't know, maybe. We'll have to see about that. If anything, these numbers could help us figure out who built the robot villagers, considering Ribot and Sprocket both have numbers on the back of their head, which could indicate they came from the same assembly line or creator. And while Bao and Meow don't have any numbers on their back of their heads, they do have a very similar design to each other, so that means they could come from an entirely different place. But when it comes to Dell, I feel like he's probably the only villager who is closest to being a cyborg compared to the others. But for now, I guess it's better if we just say that they're all robots, with a slight chance of Dell being the only cyborg. Like I said, I guess we'll just have to keep that in the back of our heads. Anyways, now that we've sort of figured out the whole are they robots or not, let's just get on to the next topic. Why were the robot villagers built? What is the purpose behind their creation? Well, to figure that out, it would be easier if we had some kind of backstory to look into the past of each villager. But where's the fun in that? If anything, we'll just have to research it ourselves, and luckily, we do have some kind of information for each villager that can give us some kind of clues to make assumptions. For example, Ribot. He's a jock villager who is skilled in ventriloquism and has a goal to become an astronaut. And if we take a look at all of Ribot's previous house interiors from the first game to City Folk, it's clearly seen that he has some kind of moon/space theme. However, in New Leaf it does change to have much more of a sleek industrial look to it. And finally, in New Horizons, it changes once again to have much more of a technical, mission control kind of aesthetic. And the same goes for the other villagers, because Dell is a cranky villager with the skill of subsistence living and the goal to become a firefighter, while Sprocket is another jock villager with the skill of air guitar and wants to be a guitarist. But when it comes to Dell, his interior house theme doesn't seem to correlate with his skill or goal, while Sprocket, on the other hand, clearly shows he wants to be a musician. Sadly for Bao and Meow, they really don't have much information, cause, you know. Anyways, with this information, we could perhaps make a few assumptions on why the robot villagers were built. The reason could be that in the world of Animal Crossing, there's been such an advancement in AI and robotics, so much so, the robot villagers truly are remarkable since they have the ability to have emotions, personalities, skills, goals, and if you bully them in the game, they get angry and probably want to start a robotic revolution. Hopefully not. And it's not just that, because they even have their own favorite blend of coffee, and are sometimes often seen with food in their hands. Which really brings up the question, what do the robot villagers run on? Do they run on electricity? Or do they actually have the ability to process food and drinks, which gives them their energy to do their daily walks around the island? And let's not forget that Dell's skill is subsistence living, which means he only uses the bare minimum required to stay alive. But what does he run on to stay alive and active? If only there was a way we could see what's underneath the shirts of each robot villager to figure out whether they have some kind of on and off switch, or maybe a little slot for AA batteries. But hey, luckily for us, once again, there is a picture of Ribot flexing his muscular robot jock body without a shirt on, and as you can see, it's just a metal plate that's covering up the secret on how these robot villagers run. Well, I guess we're gonna have to quite literally dissect this frog. Hey, it could be like a game of Operation, only for us to find out that Ribot runs on pure buckets of protein powder. Hence, why he's a jock villager. You know, can we just all agree on that? I know we may all come out of this video with different theories and ideas, but can we all come together and make it canon that Ribot uses that little slot on his chest to fuel himself with protein powder? You know what? Yeah, that's genius. Somebody go fix the wiki, because I think we may have found one thing that we all may agree that is true about this entire video. But to get back at the topic of why they were built, it was probably just due to advancements in technology, and some company or lone inventor wanted to create these villagers to help out and handle some jobs, such as being an astronaut, or becoming a firefighter, or getting into the entertainment business and becoming a musician. So basically, it's probably just some kind of mix of the story of Pinocchio and Mega Man, just to shorten things down a bit. But behind every creation, there is a creator, and with everything we've seen so far, I think it's time we try and figure out who built the robot villagers. Now when it comes to pinpointing who could be the character that built the robot villagers, I searched through the entire list of Animal Crossing villagers and looked for skills that could hint towards being interested in technology and robotics. It was one hell of a task, but in the end, I found 5 characters who could be the creators of the robot villagers. But those 5 characters are Beryl, Doc, Graham, Julia, and Vesta. Why, you may ask? Well, like I said earlier, I looked into their skills and goals, and they all have the similar skill of computing and the goal of becoming a programmer. Yeah, some of them may have different skills and goals, but these 5 were the closest who could have some kind of involvement with robotics and technology. But to narrow the list down to better decide who is the creator, we could take a look at who seems more capable of building a robot, which would narrow the list down to Beryl and Doc, since they both have some kind of knowledge with computers and typing, and have a goal to become programmers. So does that mean Beryl and Doc are the ones behind the creation of the robots? Well, probably not, because if we go by the origins of the villagers in the Animal Crossing games, Beryl first appeared in New Leaf, while all the robot villagers have been around since the first game. So if we go by the terms of seniority, Beryl, in the terms of games, is much younger than all the robot villagers. Unless he was around since the first game in the sidelines and we'll just never know about it. But what if the creation of the robot villagers was a joint effort between different characters such as Beryl and Graham, 2 lazy, smug, nerd villagers who built 2 jock robots, Sprocket and Ribbot, to do work for them and to show off their brain prowess. Or maybe even Julia and Vesta building Dell to become some kind of robot model for their fashion company. I mean, just take a look at Dell's poster. He's dressed up in a sailor outfit. Could it be his side gig of being a model? Or is it a picture of his career being a sailor firefighter? Or maybe it was his past career of being some kind of marine before he got in an accident which gave him the cybernetic enhancements. Could these 5 villagers have any involvement with the creation of the robot villagers? Maybe. Will we ever know? Probably not. And I know we're essentially in the end of the video, but I can't help but also bring this up because there's other villagers who aren't robots, but are also technically not animals, such as Coco, Hopkins, and Stitches. I mean, just look at them. Coco is very similar to the gyroids. Hopkins has a very suspicious closed air hole on the back of his head, which could indicate he's maybe some kind of balloon, and Stitches is a literal walking and talking plushie. If anything, those 3 villagers are just an entire theory video of their own, questioning their backstory and how they live. But here we are, nearing the end of the video with really not much of an answer for who built the robot villagers. Is there a definitive answer to everything we talked about in this video? Probably. Probably not. Can we all agree Ribbot runs on protein powder? Oh, you betcha, man. If any of you doubt that, then how dare you? Like, come on, man. That's probably the one thing that's true about this. But that's what I like about Have You Ever Wondered. I start with one question and then seem to ask more questions than solve anything. There's really never going to be a definitive answer, and it's all just up to debate because now I leave it with all of you to speculate whether these robot villagers actually are robots, to figure out why they were built, or even find out who built them. Unless, you know, Nintendo releases new updates that give us more information, which would be amazing, but I probably doubt that it'll happen. But hey, before you go, and if you have a theory of your own, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. I genuinely can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Or, you know, just see that one person who says that they were built by the character designers, which I gotta say, yes, but actually no. But regardless, if you've enjoyed, it would be really kind if you like, subscribed, and, you know, hit that little bell icon to get notified whenever we make more videos like this, because I can guarantee you there will definitely be more videos like this in the future. And hey, if there's anyone out there who wants to go above and beyond and become a channel member, not only will you get some pretty neat emojis and a badge next to your name, but you'll also have some bonus topics for Have You Ever Wondered. Woo! Just saying. And also, one more thing before I leave. At the start of the video, I did say that I was making changes to the series because before, all of the videos used to have the title of just Have You Ever Wondered with whatever part it was preceding after it with a bunch of little topics in the video to make it much more mysterious. But I decided I sort of wanted to change that up a bit because if I continued doing that, then we'd probably be like at, I don't know, Have You Ever Wondered part 47 or something? Plus, I sort of wanted to be more direct when it comes to solely focusing on one topic instead of a bunch of smaller topics in one video. Which, you know, gives me a better chance to make them much longer like I did with this one. I mean, look, we're already like at, what, 16 minutes? I'm not entirely sure. But there's another thing I sort of want to have, and it's like an indicator on the thumbnail that'll make you immediately realize and go, oh, hey, look. That's a Have You Ever Wondered video. Time to go check it out. Because like I previously stated before, it just used to be in the title, but now I want to make it more direct. But I don't know. What do you guys think? If anything, you know, you could maybe tell me again in the comments whether you like these changes, because I mean, I think they're pretty good. I don't know. It's just all up to you, I guess. But anyways, once again, you know, if you're new and you've made it all the way here, then, you know, just do all those things, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Oh yeah, follow us on Twitter as well for updates and, you know, I keep on saying, you know, a lot. I really gotta stop. But follow us on Twitter for discussions to go into deeper depths of whatever we talked about in the video. And I guess that's really it. So with that being said, I'm out of here. So, have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream, whatever we do. I don't know. But alright, I'm out. Peace.